Alright, welcome ladies and gentlemen to the official one and only Smite super build. Today we have a requested updated build for Nemesis, but first I want to quickly go through her abilities and how they kind of matter into building Nemesis for the newer players to Smite and or to Nemesis. The first point I wanted to make is landing your basic attacks on enemies, you steal a portion of their power. They can be either physical or magical. Obviously if they're magical they get converted into physical accordingly, and this can stack up to 3 times. Now to ensure you can get the max stacks as quickly as possible, building attack speed is really key for helping that out. Next point, her basic attack tooltip, we can see here she has a 4-hit combination on her hit progression, and the last hit in her hit progression hits fairly hard, so to ensure we can get the full progression out, building attack speed helps that as well. Next point, you can notice that she only has 2 abilities that kind of benefit from physical power items, but that's not to say physical power items are not important, because that also helps increase your damage on your basic attacks. Next point I want to make is her Retribution. If you can get fairly good at timing these can act as your lifesteal, I guess you can say. You reflect a portion of the damage, and the portion of your damage you received, scaling from 60 to 100%, also heals you. Now another point I wanted to make, let me sell Yon's Wrath real quick. Next point I want to make is her cooldowns are fairly lengthy, 14 seconds, 13, 18, 90, fairly lengthy for an assassin that heavily depends on her abilities for her survival. Her 1 allows you to dash in 2 times, and you can also use it to dash out 2 times, and her Retribution allows you to sustain yourself as far as HP and reflect some damage back. So really important to have cooldown reduction since she has lengthy cooldowns. So building into Nemesis, if you're playing her in Conquest, more than likely probably juggling. If so, definitely get Bombus Mask. If you're just laning, probably the Death Tool would be the better bet to help sustain you with the passive on the Death Tool. Now outside of Conquest, starter items are not too important, honestly. Now going into the boot wise, the Warrior Tabby is the most common boot choice for Nemesis players, allowing you to have all the physical power in one item, and you can kind of build into heavy attack speed items later without the penalty of having less physical power. Now the next item that's very important to have is Yon's Wrath. If you already get any type of cooldown reduction in any situation, you probably want to get earlier into the game so you can benefit the most from that cooldown reduction. Having that 25% cooldown reduction, like I said before, is very important for getting in and out of fights and just sustaining yourself. The penetration, you can never go wrong with having flat penetration, and the mana complements cooldown reduction, and so on and so forth, with the physical power giving you just more strength in your basic attacks. Now the next item of choosing, you have a few choices here. You can go into the Ichval. The way this works, it kind of works as like you're an extra passive. You land your basic attacks, you steal a portion of the enemy's physical power. But notice this is just physical power. Your passive also works against magical gods. This is purely against physical power gods, so this is great to counter, like if you're fighting multiple assassins, hunters, or warriors that are building physical power, so you can steal theirs for your own use. That warning always gives me. So yeah, you can use this. It only works in certain situations. The next item you can go into is the Frostbound Hammer. If I can type, there we go, Frostbound Hammer. This is also used to kind of shut down, well, you can use this to multiple ways. It works against magical gods as well, just for the sake of slowing their movement speed by 30% based on landing your basic attacks. And if you apply this to like physical gods like assassins or hunters or anybody that kind of benefits from attack speed, this also lowers your attack speed by 15%. So having that reduction in movement speed on hitting somebody with your auto attacks, and also in combination with your Slice and Dice, which can slow them up to 50%, and also your ultimate, which can also slow the enemy and also increase your movement speed. This is a really sticky item, so you can easily stick to your opponent and landing all your basic attacks, and they can't really get away from you between your abilities and the Frostbound Hammer. Now let's just stick with Ichval for now, just for the sake of continuing. At this point, you can still go into Frostbound Hammer if you want to, your item after Ichval, or you can go into Executioner. Executioner is really great, just shredding all the protections and allowing you to get closer to true damage. True damage basically means you do the flat damage, and it just completely ignores the defense of your target. Now you can also go into other items here. If you're fighting against multiple tanky targets, the Shin size is obviously really great for just kind of fighting anybody that's building a lot of HP. If not, you can go into the crit way. You can go into the classic Rage and Deathbringer combo, just kind of allowing your basic attacks to do all the damage and just critting really hard. So just kind of demonstrate this real quick. Let's quickly dash over to the Gold Fury. Fairly good crits there, not too bad. Now also, you may see this sometimes, you can go into a little bit more of a bruiserish / supportish type Nemesis build if you really want to. Let's get rid of a few items here. The optional defensive items can be the Witchblade to just kind of shut down any attack speed heavy gods on the enemy side. You still benefit from the physical protections if you're obviously fighting against physical gods, and also you get used to the attack speed. And or you can go into the Winged Blade. Let's say the enemy team has a lot of slows or the enemy team has an outpost. This can assure you that you can be immune to the slows and still be able to chase your target. You benefit from everything this item has, and it's extremely cheap and efficient. Another item you can go into if you really want to, you can go into the Midgardian Mail on the same point of just kind of shutting down multiple assassins and or hunters. And you can also go into the Spirit Robe. Between this and your Yohan's Wrath, you reach the 40% cap on cooldown reduction. You also get a huge amount of physical and magical protection, and the passive helps you mitigate all damage incoming for a certain duration. And that pretty much wraps it up. Magic's Blessing is not too popular now, but if you really want to, you could probably get this to just absorb hard CCs. So that pretty much wraps it up for the build video for Nemesis. Quickly through the actives. Since, Greater Sprint's not too popular anymore, Heavenly Agility, obviously to help your teammates, kind of boosts their movement speed to make them immune to slows as well. A Feebling Curse, or Weakening Curse, whichever one you prefer. Weakening Curse is to shut down healing, a Feebling is to shut down attack speed, or you can go with the basic, just Creepier Curse, just to slow all enemies around you so you can just kind of stick to them better. Obviously for Assault, you probably want to go into Salvation. Shield of Underworld, you can stack this and have your 3 pop at the same time. So you have double bubble. It'll look something like that. At that point, you're pretty much just untouchable. At that point, just reflecting all the damage if you really want to. That could be pretty fun to play as, honestly. But that's gonna wrap it up for the build video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.